Hello, hello. I had some issues, so I had to restart. I'm going to send out a link again to everybody. Hey, Sam, come. I'll invite you if you. There you go. That was. I don't know why it wouldn't work. It's frustrating. There's the StreamYard link. If anybody wants to join me, I'm surprised 9 people have actually found this link. Yeah, it was. I had it all set up, and then for some reason it wouldn't work, and I was getting mad. I hope everybody's doing well. I just thought I would try a live chat for the first time in a few months. I've been having chronic pain, and trying to figure. No, Rachel's ghost kick from studio. No, that's not it. Add to stream.
Holy. Hi, Larry.
Kick from stream. I thought I'd give you a chance.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to stream and I saw you're going. Well, I can't. I'm not going to go on if you're on.
No.
So I may as well. If you can't beat them, Larry, you join them.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
You're describing some physical discomfort. So you've got that condition.
Yeah.
This could be quite serious where you've actually
Chiari malformation 1.
Oh, well, listen, Larry, I don't know how to pronounce these things.
It has something to do with the brain.
All right. And you've got a good brain.
Yeah.
So guess what? I got a reissue. I finally got it. They're hard to find in the wild. I've got an album called Indiscreet, which I'm very happy about.
Yep.
But I was also able to pick up something called Kimono My House.
I've heard of that one.
It's a good one. And I bought it. So I've had a hard time finding the Sparks catalog, but finally got it. Look, Sam St. John's arrived.
Hello, friends.
You had time to brush your hair nicely.
I did. I had to take a quick, a quick bubble bath before I got on the stream.
Fantastic.
Yeah. How are you, Rachel, Larry?
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody, and all that good stuff.
Glenn couldn't make it.
Oh, he has better streams to be on or something.
You guys hate Big Star.
He's tuckered out from his stream.
I'm doing well, Adrian. So go on about what you were saying about Sparks there, Rachel.
Well, they're very hard to find in the wild. Now, do you have success when you're out at the store? You're in Toronto or nearby, so you can get into the big markets and flip through, and there they are, all looking great and stuff. But for me, it can be quite a challenge to get them in good shape. And I'm very fortunate, but it looks like they're starting to reissue. This came out in 2019 or so. The one I bought, and was brand new in the shrink, obviously, reissued perhaps. We do not hate Big Star. I don't know where these rumors start.
Sam, do you hate Big Star?
No, the song, I have a friend who's a Big Star fan, and he really turned me on to the song 13. I love that song.
Yeah. Sam.
Hey, I have
somebody's impressed that you're on.
Apparently.
That's Andy.
Yeah, Middens is right there, if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's doing good. She sleeps with me every night the last couple of weeks, and, Yeah.
We've had a horrendous cold wind down here today. I've been out and about, and, it was just bitter, which... It's been pretty mild down here otherwise, but it was just terrible. It gets everything staticky.
Yeah. We had a bit of, it's cold out, but we haven't had too much snow. We had that really bad snowstorm like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that's about it.
Yeah. So what are the New Year's resolutions, Rachel? Are you buying more box sets monthly?
No, that was last year. Rachel, I also don't like to be called Andy. Call me Andrew. Sorry, Andrew. But that is corrected immediately of this second. All right, Andrew, we got your name down. Okay, so box sets were 2022 for me. 2022 was so box sets, but this year is going to be Beatles in mono UK, either preferably a first pressing, but I'm willing to go as high as a third pressing. Beatles UK, the 12 or so mono albums that are available, and that's what it's going to be.
Wow.
So that's the New Year's resolution. And I've got, it seems actually out of the the Beatles mono box, I've got about 6 of those albums in my collection, solo, independent. I've been helped out in that regard with some Vinyl Community Love Train, VCLT, free gifts of records. And each of these things go for about 125 nowadays.
I'm thinking about getting the Beatles US CD set that came out, but the one that actually has the true,
That's the older one. That's the one that came out first, and it's split down in a couple of sets. So the Capitol albums, Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Okay. Yeah, because the other one is just the 2009 song
In a pretty package.
in the
That's
package.
correct.
And I've already got all those. I don't need that. Because I don't own any of the other than one, because I don't consider myself a collector. But the only US album that I have, I've got a copy of Yesterday and Today, that I bought when I was 15. But
Stones in mono, that I'm getting, David. That is pre-ordered. That is coming in with the colored vinyl, the whole shebang. I went through udiscover.ca. I went initially with the UK thing. I told Glenn Calloway about it. Glenn and I were doing, and it wasn't going to happen. And they canceled on most of us. And then I was included. Then I went to Canada, Amazon.ca, and they were going to charge me $650. And I went, it's a little bit much. And then instead of doing that, I went and ordered it through udiscover.ca for $450, tax included, shipping included, total thing, $450 total. So I'm okay, I'll do that. So that's supposedly getting here in 6 days, but maybe longer with udiscover. I don't know. I bought one other item from them. I bought the Revolver box set from them. It took me 2 weeks by the time it got here after everybody reviewed it. So I just grabbed my beautiful little Revolver like everybody's got, and I looked at it and loved it and put it quietly on the shelf, never to be discussed on my own channel.
udiscover had some pretty good 12 days of Christmas deals here in the States. I don't know how it was in Canada, but I got New by Paul McCartney for $8.
Wow.
That the 2018 version, that reissue that came out.
So does that have like extra tracks on it?
No, I think it's just Rachel might know better than I will. I think it's just a slight remaster.
That's one thing.
Remaster. There's nothing different about it. It's on colored vinyl this time.
Yeah.
Oh, was that it? I haven't even opened it yet.
That's the one thing that bugs me about CDs these days is they come out and then a few months later they come out with bonus tracks. It's like, just put it out once, put the songs on it, and leave it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just happy that they reissued the darn thing. Yeah. Now, sometimes, Larry, what's your opinion of the CD when they give you extra tracks? Sometimes I like that, but sometimes it frustrates me. Like with the Yes set, you've got that Yes box set. I've got it.
Yeah.
And they put on like America after so you're playing it and you expect the album. They've done their Magnus Opus like close to the edge, and you know every song, you know how it ends, and you put a little cap, a little cherries on top. But then with this, it's like it goes, and now we got more music. I go, I don't want that, really.
Maybe on a separate CD, or at least
I will accept
give it like a 20-second gap, so you know the original album is over.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, John Fogerty got his music back.
Yeah,
about time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Black Sabbath did that with their deluxe set. They've got the original album on
Yeah.
disc A, and then disc B is the remakes or demo versions, different.
Yeah.
So
I'm
how
not
do you
that
feel-
interested in most demo versions.
How do you feel about when it's a single disc, but it includes the stereo and the mono on the same disc? So you get the same songs repeated.
I'm elderly. I realize I'm now elderly and that I just like my old CDs the way I remember the record. Like usually the CD is a reflection of the vinyl I owned once upon a time.
Yeah, I agree.
Rachel, did you get that humble pie that you got the vinyl or the CD?
Oh God, Larry, I got two things. One thing before I forget, the YouTube shorts, I had you in my ears speaking to me. It was a spectral you floating over me going, Rachel, I've talked about this on my channel. I do not like people going, happy birthday or sorry, Jeff Beck. I guess you don't mind. It's the happy birthdays. If somebody's passed and you go happy birthday.
Yeah, I find that.
You don't like that.
Elvis. It's like happy 80th birthday. It's like
I did the Elvis. That's what it was, and you were spectrally
Elvis is
floating.
not on Facebook.
I'm so sorry. It was floating, and I remember, and I go, Larry would not approve of your Elvis, but it's a short, and I knew it would get me views because everybody loves Elvis.
Yeah.
Right? There's a huge market.
So that's just my personal opinion.
Had he lived, I do try and go, had he lived. Yeah. I do try and, ground myself a little bit of reality there.
Rachel, how did the house showing go?
We had a house showing, Larry. We don't know. Everybody, I'm by an airport here, right? So they're all going, the house is small. I go, well, there's a map of that. There's too much noise. I go, we live by an airport, right next to an airport. It's right there. Look at the map before you come to the house. I find the airplanes are loud. Yes, it's an airport. Jet engines, they're known to be loud. Anyway, we don't know. We'll find out what's happening. Puppetry.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Tricky Ricky, 77. Richard. Yeah. I've met him. He's one of the few YouTubers I've met in person.
Did you meet Ricky?
When Toronto had a YouTube convention back in 2008.
Oh, wow.
I think that's the last one they had.
It got too big.
I was signing autographs. It was so, that was just, a couple of autographs. It was like so awkward back then. It's like.
Well, what I find interesting is there's like a Chucky doll version of the Canadian Studmuffin people can get now. Video.
Yeah.
Get yourself a Larry. Put him.
What? I'm not the only one dealing with pain.
Uh-oh. Sorry, Ricky.
Mono. No, I prefer stereo because I listen on headphones. That's right.
Oh. Well, yeah, but there's the old idea of the what do they call it? The hard panned stereo.
Yeah.
When it's a fake, and so everything's over here, and because they didn't know what they were doing, and so it's a little easier on the ears from what I understand.
Dark Side of the Moon and Who's Next box sets this year.
They've been teasing that Who's Next for about 2 or 3 years now. I'll believe it when I see it. I think Townsend's too much of a perfectionist. But that'd be good. I'm really getting into Pink Floyd more and more these days. I'm collecting their discography.
What's your favorite album? Who's Next?
Oh, from Pink Floyd or from
Larry, you're confusing us. That was the trick question. Look out! He's trying to throw some Who at you.
He's throwing the curves. I really like Tommy. Tommy holds a special place. I like those albums that all flow together. I love it. Who's Next in terms of a whole album is probably their best, but my favorite is Tommy, I think.
Yep.
Are you a Who's Next guy, Larry?
Yeah, I think overall that's their best album for me. Something like Quadrophenia is really good, but I can't totally get into it. I never have.
Yeah. That's Randall Nelson's favorite album.
But that's probably why I can't get into it.
Right. Yeah. Nobody can follow along with Randy.
Yeah. The Revolver box set. My favorite though, like for the bonus materials, is the White Album. because all of, there was so much. The studio songs, the studio sessions were so good.
You were part of the reason, Larry, that I upgraded to the full
Yeah.
White Album set, because I just had the remaster with the extra demos, and then I said, I got to get the big thing because I already had Abbey Road and Pepper.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Because actually, my dad just asked me the other day. He said, "Did the Beatles, like after they broke up, do they follow CCR?" And I said, "I don't know."
Yeah, John Lennon did.
Did he?
I've seen. I think I've seen a picture of John Fogerty with Paul McCartney at some
And
point.
John Lennon cited as CCR as his favorite American band.
You lived up to my expectations. It was weird meeting Richard there because, I'm 6'3", so I'm not used to seeing taller people than me that often. He's like 6'6", right? So I'm looking up.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's different if you're using headphones. Thank you.
Silo Shroom.
Maybe.
They're still talking about somewhere in New York, though, aren't they? That never happened.
Yeah.
I found a used copy of Rock and Roll today by Lennon. It's now my first solo Lennon album that I've ever purchased, because for solo stuff, he's not my favorite of the Beatles. I know, I can log off. It's fine.
No, it's good. No, that's totally fine. Because the big knock on John's solo stuff, because a lot of people don't like Yoko, right? So a lot of it's John and Yoko. They come as a package, and you got to have your Yoko dose on each John solo album for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
From Last Weekend
But to be fair, if you look at it the same way, Linda was on Paul's until she passed away.
Yeah.
She just actually, she held harmony a little bit more than Yoko. I know Yoko is more than just her avant-garde phase.
The big thing about Yoko, she made it on the Beatles albums.
That's true. No, Linda didn't sing background with them, did she? Ever? With on Birthday or anything?
No.
I think she's on.
She may have made it on the Let It Be. Yeah, I think she made it on the Let It Be. Yeah. But the White Album is she's in there with Bungalow Bill. You can
Revolution Number 9.
She's there on the Bungalow Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, she sings that one line.
Yeah, and number nine.
Yeah, vocal and speaking voice.
Cool. Well, an artist that I finally bought 2 of his albums, and I want to get, from what I've heard, I'm so impressed with him. I want to get his whole discography. It's this guy here.
Paul Weller.
Oh. I've got three CDs coming in tomorrow, and I just picked up these 2 today. Have either of you ever heard him?
Yes, I've got a Jam box set. So Paul Weller with the Jam, and then of course he's Style Council, and then he does his solo stuff. So Weller, yes, and listen, I would be remiss if we're talking Paul Weller. The #1 fan for Paul Weller in the vinyl community is this Rob Walker. Let the Music Play over in Manchester, England. He adores him, and if you follow him on Insta, there's a lot of, this is what the kids call it, Larry, the Insta. So if you follow him on Instagram, there's a lot of Paul Weller content that goes across his.
The only real Paul Weller that I can think of offhand is it was a tribute concert where he sang "Meet Me on the Corner," the Lindisfarne song. I think he was part of that. If anybody follows Lindisfarne at all,
he's played with Paul McCartney too.
Has he?
Oh, Larry, I'm sorry, it's your show. I just got to say hello to this one character that showed up in your peanut gallery. That's the guy. This is the Darren Locke experience.
Yeah,
I know Darren. What do you call it? Michael Nolan's got his tribe. Larry, you've got your Muffin Brigade. I don't know. But then there's this, which is the Lockeans. Anyway, Darren's he's funny. He's got a great sense of humor. But he's got a great.
There's a link.
Stuff. And I've watched
Darren, if you want to join us. I'm not going to be on maybe for another half hour or so.
Larry could call his fans the Muffin Tops. That'd be really
Muffin
attractive.
Tops.
I'm sure people would appreciate that.
Yeah. I think John was jealous of Paul with how easy it was for him to do, make up melodies and everything. And
Yeah. I think so.
I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure.
I don't know. I don't have enough insight on John's psyche to do that. But I do know that John had issues with it more because of the religious imagery. So he was going, like George Harrison talks about it. John was doing God as a concept by which we measure our pain, and total refutation of anything metaphysical. And George was going the exact opposite way. And George is interviewed saying that he had a difficult time even talking to John at that period of time or listening to his music because it was so antithetical to where he was going.
Yeah. Which is funny because George was the first to have John play on his tracks, or they would both hang out with Ringo on his tracks.
yeah, have you ever heard Walls and Bridges?
No.
No, I think you would really like that album.
Some people cite it as their favorite.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that, and part of my music resolution we were talking about earlier is I want to fill gaping holes in my collection that I'm just missing. I almost picked up the new 2-disc Plastic Ono Band because like I said, I didn't up until today own any John Lennon solo, even like
No, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on now. Yeah, I've heard. I want to say like Joe Mayo likes Walls and Bridges, and some of those those Beatles guys put that one high up there. Stuff and Muffins.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes the Beatles. I shouldn't really say that.
Not on my channel.
There are people that don't. Yeah. But some people just do that just to.
Yeah, just exactly.
How can you not like something by the Beatles? I don't mean the song.
How can you not like that?
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra called it his favorite Lennon-McCartney composition.
He sure did.
Darren feels you're a big man, Larry.
I know.
It's because you mentioned your height that you don't find too many people taller than you. I think that's impressed Darren.
There you go. Walls and Bridges is my favorite John Lennon album.
Mm.
Much love.
Oh, it's Ringo.
Prog on.
Did either of you all see the Abbey Road documentary on Disney?
I did, yeah.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. It was kind of emotional too. That one woman playing, what is it, cello or whatever?
Yeah, the cello. Yeah,
yeah. And she, I guess, I don't know what happened. I know she couldn't play for much longer because of her health issues, but I don't know what exactly happened to her. But
yeah, I haven't seen it, but I gotta. I would be remiss again. I have to brag. I have to do it. I got the good fortune of being adopted into the Williams family. And my first cousin, 3 times removed, was chairman of the board of the British Gramophone Company, which merged with EMI. 1929, he sends his nephew Trevor out. And he goes to St. John's Wood. He goes, get us a studio. We need a studio. And he sends Trevor out. And Trevor picks this place on Abbey Road to be the company's new studio. So it's my second cousin, 2 times removed, that picked the building out that became Abbey Road Studios, owned by my uncle or my first cousin 3 times removed.
That's one of the things that I regret. The one time I've been in London was that I didn't do like the $300 tour of the inside, but I was with college trip and I didn't have the time. And
did you do the walk?
Oh yeah, I put up on my community page. I put up a picture a few days ago because it's been 7 years, almost to the day that I did it with my cousin and 2 other friends. But yeah, I've got it blown up on a canvas in my living room here too.
I walked the thing, but I looked like a Sasquatch. The famous Sasquatch picture, and it kind of turns at the last moment. And I said, I can't there's nothing I can do with this picture. So I've got my Abbey Road, but I look like the Sasquatch, the famous mysterious monster Sasquatch film.
What's
Very,
funny about
very sad.
the one that we have, because it was 4 of us that did it, and they were able to. The person that took our picture was able to capture it, and we just naturally walked across, and they snapped like 30 pictures, and there's one that they grabbed that have our feet are exactly the way that they are. Like one of us is off step, and then the rest of us are in step. So it's really cool.
Did any of you guys take your shoes off?
No, it was January, like I said, and it was dusk at that point, so we were really trying to get that picture quick before the sun went down.
Yeah.
You can come on Music Talk with John if you like. The link is in the chat there. Yeah, who doesn't like the Beatles? There's people that don't like the Beatles.
There are definitely people that say that they're overrated.
Overrated.
I know. I hear that more than people that dislike them.
Yeah.
Just talking about they're just the same old stuff. But people don't put historical context in either.
Yeah, I thought it was coming out last year, but
yeah, I think everybody did, but I guess they pushed everything because of Revolver.
yeah, you never know. I believe anything's possible. I believe there might be UFOs.
UFOs?
Yeah.
John Lennon saw one.
I'll say I believe that Oasis will get back together. If you believe in anything. Which I thought it was cool. I like that Noel and Liam Gallagher were in that documentary as well. I'm sure Rachel did too. Well, she hasn't seen it, but yeah, it's neat that they talk about somewhat. Like I think Liam said, he was in his room. He was up all night for hours because he was deciding what to wear for his first day recording in there because he just couldn't believe he was going to be in there. Oh, wow.
Wow, that's cool. Well, McCartney's a bit of a slacker,
Oh.
trying to get him into a studio.
Not as much as Lennon, based on Get Back anyway.
That's
Wow,
a great story Ringo talks about.
It's cool.
Yeah, I was asking a friend because, again, I'm not a collector, but I found at my record store today 2 copies of the 80s Beatles CDs. They had Please Please Me and Pepper, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get them or not. I held back because, again, I'm not somebody that I'm not.
You're in trouble.
Joe, yeah.
Come on aboard, Joe.
Lay it on me.
But get into an argument with Sam.
I didn't know if I was going to get the 80s CDs or not because in the end I was like, I don't need them.
When those Beatles CDs first came out, the first 4, they were so poorly packaged. Except for when Sgt. Pepper came out, they did the proper job with a really nice booklet and all that. But
yeah, that's the thing. Cause I didn't open Please Please Me, but Pepper did have a lot of information in the book. And they were selling for like $4 or $5.
That's funny.
Well, yeah, I'm sure all those guys are probably sick of the Beatles music. They play it all the time.
What is the best sounding remixed Beatles album? Rachel, you go first.
Revolver. They got better and better and better as they move along. Revolver's the one where they've done the best job with it.
Yeah.
Abbey Road, but I'm biased because it's my second favorite album. But yeah, I would go with Abbey Road for now. Although I think when I heard Pepper, it had there were more surprises in it in terms of some of those background noises that they brought up to the front.
Talk into the mic God gave you. Am I not talking into the mic?
Who's not?
Am I not talking into a mic?
Am I not talking into a mic?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there, Canada and all ships to sea.
I could be like WWE wrestling and have it hang over top, or Sinatra for that matter.
There's always somebody out there that's not happy.
It's free entertainment. At least that's what I was told. I don't know if there's a cover charge that Larry didn't tell me about.
The 80 CDs are interesting. Yeah. You're so quiet.
Good reading, Meredith. That's a great reading of that. Fantastic.
Just got the Revolver recent remix. Rachel is right.
Yes.
Larry, which one did you say? Which one sounded the best to you? Just for sound quality, I guess.
I think Revolver, although she said, still bugs me the way they remixed it. It's like it's lacking something.
What do you think?
Like the guitars aren't loud enough or something, or
okay.
I don't know. It's just a weird remix.
I it's been a while since I've listened to that box set. I need to go back to it. I end up listening to them all throughout the year again, at least once.
They're the deal with the remixes. Generally, the idea is that they bring the vocals up. They'll highlight things. Here's part of the problem. Part of the art of the thing is that you can emphasize any particular instrument, like Ringo on the sticks or something. You can have those dominate in a way that they were never intended to dominate. And there is a sequence on Abbey Road where that's the case, where Ringo does a little fill, but it's far more pronounced. It should be set back in the mix because it dominates in a way that detracts from the song rather than contributing to it. And that's the idea behind all these remixes, is that they should heighten the experience in a way that we are not able to enjoy in previous generations.
Joe with some good information. That's a good point that Joe brought up about John. Like I guess it took him longer to hit that point of maturity to say, hey, we're gonna move on, and all the Beatles freely admitted that Paul, brought in the work ethic for those last few albums. Yeah. So that's a good point.
Oh, he left.
Oh, something's happened.
He has to walk to show us that he's walking.
Hey, John, good to see you again.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Hey, Rachel. Long time no see since this morning.
Yeah, I know. We get around, don't we?
I watch Rachel more than I do Howard Stern.
Yeah, it's equally as challenging a proposition from time to time, I tell you.
You never know what you're going to get.
No, we don't.
My next rank and review, I'm thinking of maybe Procol Harum for my next album. I'm really getting into them, and maybe I'll be doing Paul Weller soon because I have 2 CDs so far, and I'm getting 3 more tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say, Larry, that you had all of the ELO albums? Because I know you talked about that.
No, I had the box set a couple of 2 or 3 years ago, and I ended up selling it because he only really liked 2 or 3 of the albums. But listening to them with fresh ears on Spotify, it's like I regret selling it.
Yeah.
So I want to at some point get it.
Is that the brown box one, Larry?
What's that?
Is that the brown box CD?
Yeah.
Yeah,
all of their studio albums. Yeah.
Yeah, I just highlighted it on the YouTube Shorts. I'm taking all stuff. They're great. I find that they're pretty good for generating new subscribers and that sort of thing. So I recommend to people to do them if you're a content creator out there, to do the YouTube Shorts because they take very little time to do. It takes about a half hour because we've got lights going and doing different things with them. And I even bought a movie projector. So I project behind the item I'm showing some film footage, which has helped out, and it's done quite well.
Yeah. You sometimes get more subscribers with shorts. Sometimes I'll upload a short and it'll get a couple hundred views, and some others will just take off. There's no rhyme or reason.
No, it's just
another way to promote your channel.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because I did a couple. And I wasn't sure, but yeah, Rachel's, yours are really good. I'm like watching.
Yeah, just keep doing them. Yeah.
Well, one is the funniest one. The one I like the best is I put Charles Hawtrey in from Carry On Nurse in behind Girlfriend in a Coma by the Smiths. And I've got a little carousel of all the CDs. I've got all the Smiths on CD, rotating that. And in behind, you got Charles Hawtrey in a hospital bed with Hattie Jacks, if you know the Carry On cast. And the timing and everything, it's got like a Girlfriend's in a Coma. I know it's serious. And she's shaken. The nurse comes in, shakes Charles Hawtrey, and is telling him to be serious. It all worked out just beautifully. It's serendipity, I got to tell you. A happy mistake or a happy coincidence, right?
The only back to ELO, the only ELO that I'm missing is that album Zoom In that came out like in 2001.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make a lot of them because it failed. But it was this classic Jeff Lynne. You can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, can they do, like I try not to clog up people's feeds with them, but I do 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Hopefully that's not too much for people.
Now, do you see your subs coming up, Rachel, because of it? Do you have anything?
I'm averaging about 10 subs a day on since I started doing them. So my subscription rate, because what it's doing, John, is it's taking me outside of the confines of the vinyl community where I'm a known commodity, taking me out in the great stream. So you got people doing, but because they're colorful and I've got lights and different effects going, it's bringing in different people that just like music. They may be a gardening channel or something, but they like the Beatles. So they go, oh, that's fun. And I like that. And boom, instant subscriber. So that's what's happening. Now, a big shout out to Glenn Calloway. Have you guys been watching Glenn's channel? He is
Never heard of him.
exploding.
Yeah.
Glenn is exploding right now. He's going through a huge growth spurt, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I'm a big Glenn Calloway fan.
Is she talking about the same guy we know, Larry?
I'm
don't
talking
think
about
so.
the same guy
The
you
guy
guys
we know is very
well.
unpopular.
He's very unpleasant. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
He
the
comes
guy.
in.
That's the guy.
That guy there,
Yeah, that guy there.
Yeah,
just
there
look
he is.
at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
down in the basement. It kind of makes you wonder what's going on down there.
Down in the basement trying to make it pay. He got the action.
No, yeah, Glenn did reach out to me recently. He's like, "What did I do?" He's like, "Did somebody say something?" Because he went up 200 or 300 subscribers quick.
Yeah, he's
getting help
exploding.
from, somebody. I
Well,
think.
you know what I think part of it is I know Michael Nolan gave him a really nice, and Michael Nolan
Yeah, that's
is
true.
another.
I think
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
that's what happened.
Michael's doing his channel is so I really like Michael as just as a guy, and his channel is really blowing up.
Yeah, I like Larry's videos because he little Easter eggs like Glenn is here, like a Glenn Calloway from the Basement production. Like
Yeah.
it's just stuck in there. I like that.
Yeah. I think John was ambivalent about Beatles, and the rest of the guys wanted out really. Yeah. I'm over it by now. It was over 50 years ago. No, you know what? They broke up at it was good that they broke up when they did.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was the only band with just a perfect career.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. You could see they weren't happy in that documentary, the one on Disney. They were not happy. They were splitting up right there.
Yeah, yes, Ron J. I am old, and you will be old someday too.
You're old.
You're
Jeez.
old. Oh, well. That's a good one to have, isn't it, Larry?
Yeah, Glenn who?
Rob.
He lives in a basement.
Down by the river.
Yeah. Robbie Bachman passed away. Yeah. The
Yeah.
drummer for BTO.
That's
He
just
was when what Randy Bachman sang, I ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, that's him doing Robbie. That's his little brother that he said he used to have quite a stutter, and so he
Yeah.
incorporated it into the song. And there's the hook for "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet." Peter's really upset with us.
What do you guys think about Fogerty getting rights to his music finally?
I'm sure Stu and Doug are really, angry about it.
How could they be? How could in
Yeah.
any reality those guys justifiably in any way, shape, or form be angry with this guy getting the rights to his own songs?
And they've still been covering his music for the 40 years since they broke up.
Yeah.
As CCR revisited.
Well, that's a sign of a good producer when a producer draws a gun.
Right.
You're going to get some work done.
They're talking about Phil
Hey,
Spector.
Peter,
Yeah.
let me see if this works. Block user. Bye. Love you.
Oh, there. See you, Peter.
Now, were the Beatles pretty much had Let It Be recorded, right? And then Phil Spector went in afterwards. So did he even work with them?
I think a lot of that was after the fact. I'm not a Beatles expert by any means.
Right.
But I want to say it was kind of, they were there and they said, hey, take these. But I don't know.
Yeah. How did Martin get out of the picture too? George Martin, how did he end up gone? I mean, what happened
He was
there?
getting fed up with them.
Oh, was he just done?
So yeah, well, what happens is so George Martin, right? We're talking Let It Be, the Get Back sessions, Let It Be tapes. So what happens? You've actually got 3 producers in on that. George Martin's the first producer. He comes in. Things aren't really moving because the band's going through a number of problems internally. They're at Twickenham in January. Nobody's happy. It's cold. It's dismal. They aren't getting along. This is why the film is the Get Back series that was put out is divided in between the Twickenham studio experience and then they're at number 3 Savile Row. Now, did you do the pilgrimage to Savile Row when you went over to the UK, Sam?
No, I didn't. I was only in London for like 6 days, and then we had to go to Berlin. So we had to do all the historical stuff too, which is I love too because I'm a big history guy. But
yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened? So you got George Martin in 1970 or 69, 70 working on this thing. Then he goes, and then this is when what's his name comes in, number 2. Who's the second guy on that? Everybody was excited about his cut on
Glenn Johns. Glenn
Johns, right? So Glenn Johns takes a crack at it. Everybody hailed this thing as being the second coming. This thing was not ready for prime time. I'm thankful that the Glenn Johns pressing version of the project did not see the light of day. The Beatles would have been vilified completely if that had gone out. And then finally, they shipped the tapes over to New York, and Phil Spector gets a hold of them. And Phil Spector, the third producer on the project, actually puts it together. And what's really interesting is you hear Paul McCartney being interviewed in the Get Back section talking about putting strings on the Long and Winding Road, which he complained about for years. But there he is going, well, we haven't decided yet. We might, put strings on, we just don't know yet.
Rachel,
so, you kind of go, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I always like the stripped down version too, when they put out Let It Be Naked. I like that a lot too, what they did with that.
It's been years since I've listened to that too. I've got it, but it's been years. I know that's like the big thing that everybody wants to be reissued on vinyl. The Beatles folk.
Yeah.
I bought that one on CD because that's what I was collecting at the time. I didn't even have a record player at that point. So.
What year was that? Was it like early 2000s?
2002 or so. 2001, 2002. Maybe 2004. It's early, right? I've got on discography.
I think Rob of Northern Revolutions, I think he's got an original vinyl.
Oh wow.
Because he never stopped collecting vinyl, so he was getting those limited pressings.
Yeah, he's smart. It came out 2003.
2003, okay.
Yeah. Well, that came with Fly on the Wall too, so I want to go back and listen to that and see if that's close to anything that we saw in the documentary also.
There's so much.
I found that kind of boring from what
I remember being boring. I only listened to it once. Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like all of those 2009 CDs came with like the computer, the PC mini docs too, which I've only seen once as well. Like in 2009, 2010, when I really understood the Beatles, by that point I was 15, 16.
Yeah, Billy Joel was doing that. on those remakes. Yeah.
Oh, really? He was doing like the PC documentaries or whatever it was.
Yeah, you put your CD in and you had to download some software or something.
Yeah, slow down your computer.
Yeah. And then it would show you the videos that were released already,
Yeah. You could just which now you can all find on YouTube
Yeah.
for no extra charge.
I never saw that. I could have, I guess, but I don't remember it being on TV at the time.
I did it with my lives.
Yeah, Larry and I are the same age. Where actually you're in March, aren't you, Larry?
February
February?
28th, I'll be 65.
Oh my God, I'm February 22nd. So we're both in February.
It's like John's on a mission with something.
Well, you were talking about it in that My Lives box set.
Okay.
This weird, like, you mix it and it's share your studio experience with Billy Joel. Just insert disc 5, the DVD into your PC, and you could do your own mix of Billy Joel songs, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming up with all these little gimmicks.
And what year was that set, John?
When did this come out?
Rachel, a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you want to know if they were virgins at that point? Neither were. They had been married previously. Mr.
And had children.
Mr. Stud. Yes, we're going to be old.
Bob, I actually like Wildlife.
I like Wildlife too. The more I listen to it,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
Bit Bop, which is very catchy. Oh wow! Never too late.
Yep. Yep. I am old, Mr. Stud.
Thank you, Mr. Stud.
You're so old. He's so nice. Yeah,
Make up your mind.
I like this
He's
guy.
having fun. He's just he's having a little fun with us here.
Saturday night.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about the documentary about Abbey Road though when I came on, Sam.
Yeah,
That was good. I thought Jet was a dog, the song Jet. I had no idea it was a pony. So that's my big take out of the whole thing. That's the only thing I learned. Jet was a pony, and they took it into the studio.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And Paul doesn't remember if the horse took.
Well, I know there's been conflicting stories on that song too.
Yeah,
even from Paul.
Yeah, Rick is right behind me. Holy smokes. Rich.
Yep.
23rd of February. Attaboy, Rich. Well, I guess we're all Pisces then. I believe it means we're friendly and fun to be with.
We're very sensitive.
Yeah, we're sensitive too.
In fact, I feel like crying right now.
That's okay, Larry. You'll get through it.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned something. I was cleaning my records with this today, and they kind of gave me a little lecture about it.
What was the lecture?
It was use microfiber and stuff.
Oh, is that just like a washcloth?
It's a microfiber. Well, I thought it was a microfiber. I don't know. They said to use something else. So
I heard sandpaper works really well.
Yeah, that just gets all the scratches right out of it.
That first layer of vinyl is what you need to clean off.
Yeah.
Make more grooves.
The shark poster. I was wondering who the hell's got a shark poster. I have a shark poster. The poster is from the children's series of books by the Belgian artist Hergé, otherwise known as Georges Remy. And Tintin, Spielberg did a movie about him with Captain Haddock, his older seafaring companion, his little dog Snowy. In the French, they call him Milou. And Tintin is a European hero and cultural icon, showing up in the late 20s and then being replicated. This is from the adventure Red Rackham's Treasure, my favorite of the various adventures. There's about 18 books in all, and Hergé passed away in the 1980s. But he did these tremendous books that were a big part of my childhood. And it was just something fun. I look at it, it takes me back a lifetime. I'm a very nostalgic type personality. And so I just love that. And right over here are the actual hardbound versions of it. Originally, they came hardbound and extra size, and they're just fantastic for kids.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, because I had problems with the original live chat, So I'm not sure if this is going to be recorded or not, but I usually do record. So we'll see. Do the math. I hate math.
Yeah.
The VC can be brutal.
Yes. Correct, Ken.
Well, these guys are pretty calm. Yeah, Rachel's, yours. That's why I say use emojis, demonstrate how you're feeling, because like poor Thor just didn't get it the other day. And he was
we love Thor.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just put a smiley face next to it or something,
We have fun, man. It's crazy up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry, they did do the cartoon series that was on Nickelodeon. Yeah. It's good to be here. It's nice seeing everybody. John and I saw each other this morning, so that was good. And John doesn't come up on camera too much on my show, so it was great to have you, John. And you're always welcome to come up and have some fun.
Yeah. My last time was when I was driving to St. Augustine. You're like, careful when you're driving out there.
Yeah, I know. We don't want any accidents. We always worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time I can't come up because I'm busy and I don't want to just come up and say, hey, and I got to go,
Yeah, right. That's me too, because you always come on, Rachel, right when I'm starting my day.
Yeah, I know. I started. I mean, I guess I could have, if I thought this thing through more, I could have started the program and made it a prime time affair to really rake them in. But we did pretty good, man. This little show of mine it punches above its weight on some level.
Yeah, there's people even at my record store the other day brought you up, and you're like, you watch Rachel? I'm like, have you seen my videos? Do you not know? I'm like, yes.
Exactly.
Do you know who I am?
I suspect out of the four of us here today, I suspect Mr. Studmuffin might have had a few more. Hey, you are the, and Larry, yeah.
Do you get that in public? You got people recognizing you now?
Yeah, not a lot, but sometimes, it's actually kind of, and Molly too, when she's down.
Yeah.
It's nice. I don't know. It's a little awkward, but
yeah, it'd be awkward for me.
Glenn, the first time I met him was at a grocery store. He knew me. I didn't know him. He says, Larry. Is like, oh, back off, dude.
He's spraying down.
No,
but anybody can approach me and I'll say hello.
Yeah.
My favorite celebrity recognizing story is my buddy. He's a guitar guy and he's big into music and stuff. And he saw Burton Cummings at the grocery store. Burton Cummings from the Guess Who lead vocalist. And there's Burton, and there's a little old lady. She can't quite reach a product. So Burton helps her reach it, and he goes. Now I'm going to let you know. I'll help you with this, but this isn't really the best softener for your laundry. And then so Burton Cummings is talking, and she has no clue who he is. And my buddy's just killing himself. I can't believe it. There's Burton Cummings talking to this lady about her laundry softener, and she doesn't have a clue. It was a strange juxtaposition of celebrity dealing with the mundane that struck him as being vaguely humorous. And I got it right when I pictured it.
There was just a post recently about McCartney right after Christmas where him and his wife were getting a Greek takeout. And he went to go pick it up at the restaurant, and he stood at the counter, and they essentially told the staff, it's Paul McCartney's coming. Don't make a big deal about it. He doesn't want the other patrons to be drawn. He came in with like a stocking cap, and a hoodie on. And they said that he went to each person that he, had conversation with and was asking them how their job was, how the business was doing. He made them feel like they were normal people, and because he knew that they were going to freak out seeing him. And so I think stories like that come up about him all the time. I just think that's great that he's who you want him to be.
Yeah, I think he treats people, pretty, but he could be rude with like fans, when he's eating or something, want an autograph. It's like
the worst of the story I heard about that is from poor Joe Mayo. He's out cold. He's in the cold. And McCartney's there, and he gives him a one-liner. He burns Joe out with a one-liner. It's very hurtful, Paul.
It's got to be hard to keep yourself level, especially all those years.
You can't make everybody happy.
I would be terrible.
Oh.
I agree, John. And it's a credit to the Beatles that they seemingly were able, with everybody going, "You're a god." You know,
Yeah.
people literally going, "You people are like God to me," and the worshiping and the humility that they were able to have, independent of any egos in the studio or otherwise.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song where the Beatles are mentioned? That's a good question.
That's from Adam.
Oh,
Hi, Adam.
There's a Billy Joel one.
Yeah.
It's all she wants to do is dance, and he says, "Why don't the Beatles get back together?" So, there you go.
Who did that song in the 70s? God, it goes, "You sound just like John, Paul, and George," and then they do a little riff from dun, 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 bum, 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 bum.
I'm not sure.
I don't know what that one is.
Yeah. What
Hey,
is
there's
that?
Michael.
It's Michael.
I'll
Michael.
invite him if you can. I'll be on for a few more minutes.
I think Michael has the coolest picture of anybody on YouTube.
Yes. What is this? How often do you walk in the rain, Michael? This is what I want. I want to know this.
That's just Michael walking to the kitchen to make food. That's
what it is.
always that cool.
The sprinklers went off in the house, or the sink exploded, and he's got to get to the dishes. And his wife takes a picture.
It's true. They're just people. They are.
You could always say, what's the John Lennon where he said, "I don't believe in Beatles." You could count that kind of works both ways. A Beatle talking about the Beatles.
Was it "Don't Call Us, We'll Call You," Rachel?
Yep, Sugarloaf.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you ain't bad, but we've heard it all before. Huh? You sound just like John, Paul, and George. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. That's right. Thank you so much for that. That was a kind of a minor hit for them in Canada back then. Yeah, all the young dudes, Mott the Hoople for sure. Oh, and Metric does a modern group. Metric does "Who'd You Rather Be, the Beatles or the Stones?" The Beatles or the Rolling Stones. It's a good little song. Yeah, poor Mr. Stud. He's really, I think Larry, I think a little bit of the elbow may be bending.
Yeah, a 2-hit. Yeah. What's wrong with actually being even a 1-hit wonder?
I would love to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
At least you had a hit single.
Just a one song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Good for them.
To live off of one song,
Yeah.
if you have the rights to it anyway.
John Fogerty's got a guy for you.
Well, the kitchen is kind of far from my couch. Oh, well.
Did he explain the water picture? I really want to know. And is that a beach behind him? What's happening in that picture?
Hey, Michael, I am getting into Paul Weller. Anybody else a fan of Paul Weller?
Rob Walker, where are you?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll have to come on one of the live chats sometime.
Yeah, the Beatles are mentioned that one. "Love Me Do" is in the lyrics. Yeah.
Rich, you're on top of it, buddy.
Oh, that's right.
Johnny was the schoolboy when he heard his first.
That's it.
Beatles
That's
song.
right.
Rich is Googling everything to make
That's the one, Mr. Green, Mrs. Green, The Seeker. That'd be my favorite.
Yeah, I asked the Beatles. They
Green
call
Eyed
him the
Lady.
Seeker.
That has the Beatles in it? Wow, I'm not even. Wow.
I asked Bobby Dylan. I asked the Beatles. I asked Timothy Leary, but he couldn't help me either. Yeah, they called me the Seeker.
And then of course you got John Lennon mentioned by name by Mark Bolan in God, what is it? In one of his songs, the lyric goes, it goes, I know John Lennon, or John Lennon knows my name, and I've seen his.
Elton John, "Empty Garden."
Oh, what a sad song!
I know.
What a
I didn't know that was
heartbreaker.
about him at first, and then when I realized what it was like, oh, that's a strong song.
There's also the Bob Dylan song from his album Tempest called "Roll On John," where he makes a lot of Beatles references. It's about John Lennon passing. Phoebe Bridgers.
That was on Tempest. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's the last song called "Roll On John."
Yeah, there's some Dylan I need to fill in. There's some 80s stuff I'm missing and a little bit of 70s.
Oh, I see. I just got the Dylan box set, the red box set that Glenn's got, that red thing. Have you got that, Larry, the Dylan box set? The red one with the Columbia collection?
I bought that a few years back, the whole set.
Yeah.
And I had it for like a year. And then at one point, I said to myself, you know what? I really don't like Bob Dylan that much.
Yeah.
So, no, I do like certain albums. Like, it's not that I don't like him, but I never would have played a lot of the CDs in it. So
Dylan's my favorite solo artist. Like Elvis is number 2. Sorry, I love Elvis, but he's number 2.
Yeah, that's Dylan's my guy. He's number 1.
His longevity. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. You think he's, probably gonna give up or whatever, and then he puts out that album mentioning Kennedy and the assassination.
Rough and Rowdy Ways. Yeah.
And you're looking at the lyrics going, if I could just write like this now, and this guy is like at the end of his career. Makes you sick.
Okay, there's another person I want to say hi to. It's Pau Barabajikal.
Jean.
And that is Jean, and she's just the loveliest thing, loveliest lady. And Jean, if I ever do a contest again, I owe you a free entry because I've written you down in my book of words to give Jean a free contest entry because I missed her in doing the countdown, or hers came in at the last, or somehow I missed it. But I'll make it up to you. Don't you worry. We'll do another contest one of these days.
Larry, I have not forgotten your contest. It is on my to-do list.
yeah, I've only got 3 entries so far. So
Really?
more entries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Yeah.
What is it? Does that go through March?
I think my birthday, February 28th. So I think I'll do the draw February 27th.
Okay, yeah, I need to pick my
I'll do
album.
a live draw.
I have to do that one.
Yeah, Pow just sent me The Move, their 4th album's Message from the Country. She sent it to me. It's really good. Jeff Lynne was in The Move at that point.
Yeah. I love Jeff Lynne. I do.
He is a musical genius.
He had that sound in the late 80s, early 90s between Petty and the Traveling Wilburys.
Roy
Orbison, yeah. Did he produce the last one, Mystery Girl? Was he the producer?
Yeah. And he and I think he and Petty, they helped co-write what was the big song on that? Oh my word, what was it called?
Which album?
Of Mystery Girl.
You Got It?
Yeah, he helped co-write that with Petty and Orbison.
Yeah, I always liked, was it that California Blue?
Yeah.
That one stuck. That was just a great album. And I was just getting into Roy Orbison at the time, and then I remember being in my car coming out of high school, and I turned the radio on, and it's gone. I'm like,
that's what I was so happy that because like obviously being younger, I'm getting into artists as they're unfortunately passing on. And so I was very lucky that when I started getting into Michael Nesmith, that I was able to catch him, before he died, because I feel like it would have killed me. It's the same with John Prine. I mean, I'd been into him for a few years before I saw him, but not a long time. He wasn't a lifelong person that I followed. Yeah, that's what they call me.
I didn't even see that on your shirt. That's cool.
Yeah, this is from his website. It's a sweatshirt. It's pretty cool.
I just got a Miles Pop figure. I found.
Oh, neat. I've got a lot of Miles Davis.
I have a Miles Davis CD coming in on the corner.
Okay, yeah, you're kind of getting into like the fusion stuff.
Yeah, I heard it on Spotify, and it's like I love that.
I got that one at the thrift store the other day.
Sketches of Spain is one of my top 100 albums.
Yeah.
Kyle, my favorite David Bowie album is probably Black Star.
Oh, powerful.
Yeah, Larry, you're right. Yeah, I love Black Star. What that little jazz feel to it, and oh yeah.
For me, I guess I'd go with Aladdin Sane. I love, and also Pinups, his cover album, because those are the first 2 I had back around 1973, 74. And then, I love Bowie. Bowie's clearly top 5 solo performance. I saw him with the Glass Spider tour in '87 or so. But that would be for me because of the sentimental thing. I don't think they're necessarily his best, but they're the ones that were my introduction, as a teenager.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing a bit of a Roy Orbison song. Anytime you get it.
You get it. That's right.
He corrected himself.
There we go. Yeah, I found myself, once I got into vinyl, really diving into artists I never had on CD or tape or whatever. it's just one little avenue leads to another, and you just end up with this great collection.
Oh, Leafs go.
Wow.
And speaking of Pow, she's on my Patreon, and she had me listen to a full album of Fairport Convention half bricking, and I liked it so much I actually ordered it.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd like, but I was impressed with them.
They're good. That's a good band. I just have one of theirs in my collection too, as well.
It's called Fairport. What is it?
Fairport Convention is the name of the band.
Yep.
And Gene, yes, Peter Frampton was his guitarist, and Tony Basil was doing the choreography for it. So she was in the background dancing and doing backup vocals and stuff.
Yeah, I like this volume 2 because I was looking for volume 2, not realizing George Harrison's humor there. Monty Python guy.
Yeah, that's funny. Volume 2,
volume
people
3.
still looking for volume 2.
Yeah, I stopped. I finally got it.
We have fired the people that did the volume 2.
Oh my god. Well, I was at the record store asking about it, and the guy just looked at me. I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, there's no 2." Oh boy.
Low, yeah.
Yeah.
George Harrison's laughing in his grave.
And the answer is
yeah. Yeah, he's
interesting. He's not somebody that I can latch onto, Bowie.
Yeah.
I saw the Moon
He's
Age
right up there for me.
Yeah, I know he is for you, for Glenn, and there's something I can't do.
Even like Ziggy Stardust. Have you tried any of those?
That's the only album I have is Ziggy, and it's not one I haven't listened to it in probably 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, The Man Who Sold the World and all that. It's just the production on it. The sound is just amazing.
Aladdin Sane is brilliant. I mean, there's so many beautiful songs.
People talk about Hunky Dory being a great one. I mean,
Hunky Dory's good. Yeah.
What was the one? I'm trying to think of that song.
Queen.
They're making a sequel to Spinal Tap.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this year, I think.
Well,
I've never seen Spinal Tap.
I hope it's better than the final Dumb and Dumber movie they did.
Yeah.
When that came out.
Some things you can't touch. It's like Napoleon Dynamite. You don't touch it. It's good.
Oh, John, I love that show. I totally get Napoleon Dynamite on every level. I think it's one of the greatest coming of age films you'll ever see.
Eat yours up, Tina. Did you get it right away? Like it took me a couple.
Got it immediately.
Did you?
From the very first scene where the little muscle man is being dragged behind the bus.
That was so
I was on board. As soon as I saw that, I go, I understand this character.
Yes, that is so 19. We did that. Yeah, we did that with our characters, our Star Wars characters, right?
What's genius about that movie is that you're watching, you're like, oh, this takes place in the 80s, but it was supposed to be, in real time in 2004.
Yeah. And
I know my dad tells the story because him and my mom went to go see it at like our local indie theater. And, I was only 10 when it came out. And they said that dad went inside and he's like, I couldn't believe it. He's like, there were all these high school kids in there, like sitting in each other's laps, like double booking these seats. And he said, I didn't get it until Uncle Rico shows up. And he said, after Uncle Rico showed up, he said he was crying, laughing.
Yeah.
Well, and Kipper's, he's got,
Well, they hooked him up to
all the lines, like the one-liners in there, it's just brilliant. But it's truly a story of coming of age story.
Yeah.
And the big change around comes when once Napoleon does the dance.
Oh my God.
That's where everything changes.
Oh yeah. Well, the crystal for the time machine, and like he's getting shocked by the time. And the cord, remember the long cords on the telephone? He took it all the way around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Janet's right about this. What's the guy? Christopher Guest talked about it. He says, I actually am ripping off Jeff Beck for my look.
The cut off shirts.
Yeah.
He chews that gum the whole movie. And yeah, John, you need to see Spinal, because I know a lot of those guys. Like I think Steven Tyler was one of them. A lot of those guys didn't know that it was a mockumentary. Like they thought it was an actual documentary about this, heavy metal band, because it was so true to what they had lived.
Yeah, you would think I would have seen it by now. I gotta make a point of seeing that this year and watching.
You have to. Yeah. Don't not another video until you've seen it.
Okay. I can't make any more
Christopher
videos.
Guest. He's one of my favorite
I've been
Canadians.
banned. Okay.
Waiting for Guffman. Have you
Oh,
seen
Yeah.
that?
Mighty Winds.
Yeah, Mighty Wind.
Best in
Oh,
show.
Best in
Show.
Show.
All those are part of that group of
That
actors.
whole troupe is fantastic.
Yeah, like those are good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when Spinal Tap went on tour like 15 years ago, the Folksmen opened for them, which I thought was brilliant from Mighty Wind. It's the same three guys, John.
Yeah, they actually could play their instruments. Like,
Oh yeah.
So
Christopher
talented.
Guest, he can play, banjo, guitar. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's funny because I've seen a Mighty Wind, but I haven't seen Spinal Tap. Okay. Time to get caught up.
Yeah, it's the same. Even like Fred Willard is in that. There's cameos from Billy Crystal and Dana Carvey are in it briefly. Fran Drescher.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta check that out. Now,
See,
one of my-
that's,
go ahead. Yeah.
honestly, that's a tough question that we had because worst album doesn't. There are albums that I don't like because of the genre, but that doesn't make one a bad album.
yeah.
Well, it's all subjective. Yeah. You don't. It's all your taste.
Like I'm a fan of Yoko Ono, but those experimental albums, I'm not a fan of at all.
Now, which ones of hers are? I thought they would all be experimental. They're not all.
No. She's got a double album, Approximately Infinite Universe, and they're all song-based songs. And she sings. And
So, what's her most accessible album? Because I don't get the Yoko thing, but I'm trying to figure it out. So, what's her most accessible that I could come into and try and see what's happening here?
Approximately Infinite Universe.
Okay.
It's a double album. Yeah.
All right. I'll make a note and check that out once. So I got to do Spinal Tap and Yoko. There you go. I have my whole
listen to Lennon and Yoko's Double Fantasy. Kiss, Kiss, Kiss Me Now is a very accessible song.
Yeah, I know that song.
I mean, it may not be your groove, but it's pretty damn accessible.
Well, it's I'm torn because you hear John in there, and and then I'm like, why is Yoko there? Get her out, It's
So the thing is, I think the worst record would probably be any record where somebody's advocating evil, literal evil on the thing. So Hitler sings the great songs of oppressing the human race. Right. That would be a bad record. That would be the worst record. But just people being experimental or crying or screaming or emoting or doing something that's in the quote avant-garde, it may not be my jam, as the young kids like to say, but I'm certainly not going to label it the worst music that's ever been conceived of.
Yeah, who are we to? That's why I don't like critics, really. I mean, it's just their opinion we're looking at,
Yeah, I'm always I don't like ranking videos for myself. I don't mind other people doing them. I'm never comfortable doing them. Who the hell am I to say this is the best thing the Pink Floyd ever did?
Yeah,
I can't say that. All I can do is reference my own life and go, this is my favorite because this is my association with the album. But is it their most the best critically, musically? I can't say that.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, John. But also to further to that is just when we were talking about pressing, so that we can objectively kind of approach because we can measure it. Patrick, the vinyl archivist, has made a career out of it, essentially, of telling you this is a press to get audio, it's superior in its fidelity and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Anytime somebody does like one of those top tens, I know it's just their opinion. And you like to kind of go, ooh, I match you on this or I don't. So, it's just coming from their passion for music. So yeah, I like those when they do those.
Yeah.
What about Yoko's art? It's just, it's different,
I like her Destructo art. Her father had started a little thing called World War II.
Yeah.
Oh. I remember Jamie Lee Curtis in the 80s.
Yeah. One band, how many times live? Rush, 9. I've seen Sparks 4 times.
Yes is for me. I've seen Yes 4 times.
Yeah.
Dylan
Were those all with John Anderson?
Yeah, John was with all the 4. Yeah, the 4 times I saw him. John was there.
Sam?
Bob Dylan 4 times.
Yeah. Did you like all 4 shows?
Yeah, and the 8th show I was in a completely different part. There were 3 different venues, 4 different shows, and each time I was at a different spot in the venue. Again, they were all about the same size, and the last time I saw them was April of last year, and I was the closest I'd been, about 5 or 6 rows from the front, and it was great. I mean, every time it's been different songs. Just I love it. I mean, I love everything the man touches. So
yeah, I'm not like Sam that way for Dylan. Dylan's my number 1 favorite artist, solo artist, right?
Yep.
Yeah, one band. I mean, yeah, the most I've seen an artist is probably 2 times. I've seen like Billy Joel twice. I saw Petty twice. I saw Sheryl Crow twice.
Petty, yeah, that one hurts.
Sheryl Crow doesn't get enough credit to us. I very seldom do I hear her name mentioned.
She fizzled out. I think she lost that hunger. After probably that 1,000 Miles from Memphis, then she did like a country kind of album, but it lost the passion. Like the production of like the second album, like the Sheryl Crow album, and even Globe Sessions. I mean, it's just
Globe Sessions, fantastic.
Yeah, she had some rock in there. You know, it was good.
Which I think is why she kind of like semi-retired from making music, where she was just there's a similar reason to Billy Joel, where he said, I can't keep up with the new trends kind of thing.
Yeah, he got kind of just tired of writing the music. It's funny, there was an interview with him, and he was saying he was going to stop the touring at the time of like River of Dreams and try to focus more on the writing. And then you turn around and look, that's all he's done is toured since '93.
Well, he just has an 86 show at MSG alone.
Yeah.
I've heard good things. I don't know if any of y'all know Margot Price. She's kind of an Americana alt country. She just put out a new album yesterday. And I know Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers. He's on a couple of those songs.
Great voice. Yeah,
they're good. They're good friends because she was on his last album with the Dirty Knobs. They did a duet together.
Man, I like the Dirty Knobs. What a
band! I do too.
Yeah, excellent band.
Yeah, State of Mind is the one that might have been my favorite song in 2022. The Mike Campbell and Margot Price from the second album.
Yeah, I like the one with was it Ian Hunter that's on there too?
Oh yeah, Dirty Jobs.
His voice is so rough and
it's like, good.
How many cigarettes did you smoke before you sang that song?
But you don't think of him as somebody who's in his 80s though, because he was like 81 when he recorded that.
Wow, jeez,
it's crazy that he's that much older than a lot of those guys. Although I was really surprised. I saw that Andy Summers from the Police just turned 80. I didn't realize he was that much older than the other guys.
Oh wow, no.
Yeah. He was born in late 42, I think, or 43, early 43. Yeah.
Who's the youngest? Would Copeland be the youngest in the Police?
Sting is 71, 72. I'm not sure how old Stewart is.
Isn't that weird? Like Sting's 71.
Yeah.
But he looks. I mean, you look at him and somebody like Bruce. They look great.
Bruce looks good, yeah.
And they both sound great. So I mean, they've taken care of themselves.
Anybody heard the new R&B album that he put out?
I love it. The Springsteen, Only the Strong Survive. I know Rich in the comments. He has his opinion about it, but it got a lot of crap in the VC. But I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Where he covers all the soul and Motown tracks.
Well, I always like the song "Night Shift" from the '80s, the Commodores, and
I do too.
I really like what he did with that song.
Yeah. Bob Dylan.
Sparks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Dylan twice, so Dylan would be great. I think anytime. I was lucky too. Some people say he can be on or off. I was lucky both times he was on, both nights that I saw him.
To answer that question, I would always pick somebody that is inconsistent in their set list. Like I wouldn't want somebody that's the same set list all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would, because anybody I would be like, all right, well, I've heard this show already.
Yeah, like Pink Floyd. I mean, they're like playing the album basically. They're so.
But even like Elton John right now on his tour. I mean, he's been doing this tour now for like 4 years, and it's essentially the same set list, maybe with 1 or 2 songs that he's switched out. So it's not a tour that you would follow. Not like the Grateful Dead or somebody like that.
Right.
Or Dylan back in the day. I mean, Dylan stays pretty close to his set now, but.
I think for a while he was changing up pretty good because I've talked to different people that seen Dylan. Said he did something completely unexpected here and completely there.
Yeah, up until the mid 2000s, like 2005, 6, even 10. I mean, it was every night something different. But I guess with age, it just
But
Just
imagine
like
just trying to memorize all those lyrics of his, even just "It's All Right, Ma."
yeah.
Just what's the other long one from the '60s at the?
Any of them.
Yeah,
Visions of
that's true.
Diana,
Yeah, memorize all this.
Side-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands.
Yeah, plus a chord progression while you're doing it. It's wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if Frank Zappa did any grunge type songs.
No, that was
He did
after.
a lot. He's one of my favorite artists.
He died at like 92 or something. So he died just before grunge even kind of happened.
Neil Young. I've seen Neil Young.
I've never seen Neil.
I saw Neil.
I'd love to see Neil. I'd love to see The Who.
I've seen The Who.
Wow.
Actually, no, I wouldn't. I don't need to see Neil. I had the opportunity a couple times. He was close enough, but I'm not a huge fan of his music.
I would be there.
Some acts are you go just because they're so iconic. You just
I mean, yeah, if he came to town, I would go. That's the thing. But I'm not traveling 2 hours like I would for Dylan.
Yeah. I saw Rush once. That was good. I'm not a huge Rush fan. I have like 1 or 2 albums, but in concert,
oh yeah,
just those 3 guys, and Neil Peart with the freaking 15-minute drum solo, all over the place. And it had a rotisserie or something in the background.
Yeah.
It was like a big red thing, and you saw chicken turning around in there. I don't know.
Another time they're doing their laundry.
Yeah, the washing machine. My friend said he saw that too. Yeah.
that's hilarious.
They just
Yeah,
had some
Cape
weird-
Cod Can Blue Oyster Cult is one of my all-time favorite bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a band that, I liked a couple. I just couldn't get into all their music for some reason. But some bands, it's like, I wonder if it's just different if you see them live. Some bands, you just need to experience them in that kind of setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alice Cooper, he's always great.
Yeah,
He
I'm
just
digging.
announced a slew of new dates, I think.
Yeah, does he have an album coming out or something?
He did. He did have an album. I know they're finishing up. I think the original band has recorded 7 or 8 songs.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, which I know that they've done a couple of his last albums, like 2 or 3 songs, like the original band. Yeah.
Thank you and reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you film some of these things, Larry. I'm like watching, going, how is he doing this? Is there a green screen in there? What's he doing?
Yeah.
No tricks on Larry's channel.
I'd love to. Yeah, he does these comedy skits, and I'd love to do that, but I don't know how you can pull that off. You just got to have it in.
Well, I call them comedy skits. Some other people might not.
They crack me up. I love them. Yeah. First couple I saw was you kind of just doing that, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, he's talking about music too. I'm like, all right.
Saw the Who and Neil. Yeah.
The Who's the loudest concert ever?
She complained to the crowd she was having a crappy day.
Oh, really?
The crowd goes.
How can you have a crappy day when you're making a few $1,000s singing?
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
She's good in a small venue. I saw there's a place called Ruth Eckerd Hall near us, and it's a small venue, and that was good. I saw Don Henley there also. But definitely would love to check out all of that. I think he's talking about Zappa.
Maybe.
See Rush with Neil. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. 48th and 49th CD.
That's a collection.
Reinhard. I have no idea who that is.
That's more than Bobby has.
Yeah, I guess Who.
How many original members were in the band at that point?
I think that's when they had Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings in the band.
Yeah, some of these bands keep going, and it's like Leonard Skinner and stuff like that, and there's like nobody left. It's like
Foreigner makes me mad.
It's like we see. I have we're near Orlando, so I go to Epcot a lot, and they have a lot of bands, and they have Journey. I'm like Journey. I'm like, okay, so I'm looking, and it's not the Filipino guy singing, somebody else, but there was a guy. He looked like Neil Schon, and I'm like, okay, well maybe it's just him, but it wasn't. It was another guy that played in the band for a minute, and he was the only person that had the connection to Journey. Now they sounded good, but I'm like, this isn't Journey. It's like, That's
Michael Noland has made a career out of talking about those kind of topics, or are these really legitimate versions of these bands that we grew up loving? And
it takes something away from it.
I mean, because I bring up Foreigner a lot because you always see pictures of Foreigner, like their publicity photos. They still have Mick Jones, who's the guitarist and principal songwriter.
Yeah.
But the past 4 or 5 years, his health has been wavering on and off. So I know that Foreigner came to my neck of the woods a couple of years ago, and they sold out an outdoor venue that holds 2,500 people, and everybody's like, "Oh, Foreigner," blah, blah, and Mick Jones wasn't even there. I was like,
but most of the people aren't even gonna know.
No, that's the sad part.
They're just listening to the songs. Oh, I love
Hot Blooded, and they freak out. Or
I guess that's fine. I mean, you're enjoying it. I mean, it's just for people who know, it takes the fun out of it.
Well, I mean, my thing is just don't call it Foreigner. I mean,
yeah. The Guess Who right now, I think it's just the original drummer, and that's it. And even on the Spotify,
I was going to mention that
it's the new band. There's no Burden Cummings or Randy Bachman. It's all these new guys.
These dudes like in their 40s. Like, wait a minute, you weren't playing in the early 70s.
Well, they do that a lot with even like the Motown stuff. They'll come to town and it'll be the Four Tops with whoever. Four Tops. I mean, they're all dead. I mean, who's left?
Four new tops.
The Temptations. The Temptations have one original member, Otis Williams. I think the baritone singer, but he never sang lead like on any hits. But because the rest of all the original guys are all dead.
Yeah. I don't know, I guess that for us, it takes it out of it. And some people just go, I just want to go have a good time and have a drink. And I don't know.
Yeah, something to do on a Friday night.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not big into that. Now, I did see a Beatles tribute band, and they played at a very small venue here. And I liked it. I didn't think I was going to.
You didn't think it was going to be the Beatles, did you?
Well, I was hoping, but.
All four of them.
Yeah. But I liked how they did it because they started with the early Beatles and they did all these costume changes, and it took you all the way through the psychedelic phase into the don't give a crap how we look, let it be phase and Abbey Road, So it was entertaining and the music was good. I'm sure some of it was pre-programmed, but I'll never see the Beatles, so it's kind of like watching them.
Yeah, Foghat is just the drummer because the other three members have passed away.
Well, Kansas is like that too with the drummer and the keyboard player.
Now you guys turned off by like high ticket prices and seating now. It's like, okay, I'm paying this much money for a ticket. I'm sitting somewhere where I can see them better on a screen.
Yeah, I've hung up my badge for me, so I don't go anymore. I'm done for concert. I've seen everything I pretty much wanted to see.
What if the Cosmic Torpedoes come to your town, Rachel? Would you come out of retirement?
It's the one temptation. I love the way you're going with that question. Even for the Cosmic Torpedoes, I could not make the grade.
We'll come to you then. We'll play some back porch picking.
Actually, yeah, you know what? I just remembered that I'm going Cosmic. That's you and Glenn, for the love of God. Yeah, I'd go to see.
There you go.
Go see the Cosmic Torpedoes. That's the one band I'd go to see. I'd pay top tier dollar for
top
it.
tier.
Yeah, top tier, Sam. Yeah, right. You guys had your contest to guess the name and the whole bit.
Yeah. We have. I think Glenn's probably coming back this way, maybe late spring. It kind of all depends.
Well, he gets down stateside a lot because his daughter's in Florida, right?
Yeah. Last year we met up twice. We had the opportunity to meet up 3 times, but then I got the nasty COVID and had to postpone.
Yeah, I'm hoping to meet up with Glenn.
Yeah, I'm with Rich, right? If the Cosmic Torpedoes get into his town, if the Cosmic Torpedoes around, I'll definitely go, and I'll bring friends to see the band too.
I'm there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
When's the tour going to be announced?
Yeah. Well,
working on the logistics,
Logistics.
I don't think Badfinger tours anymore. I think it's just the one Joey Molland.
Joey Molland,
It's a solo thing.
I met Joey. I saw him.
Yeah.
Playing a bar in 1983. I had Jerry Shirley with him. He was a drummer for Humble Pie. And so I met Joey. I got up because the guitar player had a couple of gals with me. And so he wanted to, the guitar player said, any chance of me getting with these girls? I said, well, you got to introduce me to Joey, and then we'll see if they are, amenable to your advances, you know, but you get me up to see Joe. So he did. I went up and I had a great talk with him. And the great thing about that is I was able to mention The Longest Cocktail Party by Richard Diallo. And I pronounced the guy's name Diallo, but Joey's going, it's pronounced Diallo. He's a good friend of ours. And because he's from Liverpool. And it was really good because he knew I knew a little bit about the band and the history of things. And so we got along very famously. He was very forthcoming because I was asking, what's it like, you know, playing with Lennon? What's it like playing with George Harrison? Like, you're on the frickin' credits, man. I mean, that's incredible. And so he was really into it. He was having a lot of fun talking about, Savile Row, Apple headquarters. They were around there a lot. 1968, 69, all that was going on. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, with that last comment, $2 to $3 for a ticket. Yeah. There's this video with Nirvana, and they were hearing at the time how much Madonna was charging for a ticket, and they're like, she's charging $50 for a ticket. What the hell? That
Cobain is just $12.
Yeah.
Beatles and the Who. Who's okay?
Yeah. Billy Idol's excellent.
Yeah, Steve Stevens. That was the guy with the big.
Yeah. They're still together.
And this Billy Idol's kind of doing like the Ringo thing now, where he's kind of just an EP guy.
Yeah, he put a couple record store day things out, right?
Yeah, and like a Christmas EP, I think, like last year or so.
I paid $32 for Ringo.
Wow.
I paid Madonna, where you just asked him about Madonna. I paid $34.50 for Madonna.
When was that?
Seattle Kingdom, 1987.
So that's still early Madonna, before she really like.
This is Who's That Girl tour. Who have I got here? Oh, Yes, An Evening with Yes. Oh, this is a good one. This is U2 and Los Lobos backed them up. $26.50. Joshua Tree tour for.
I saw them on that tour. Yeah.
$26 we would have paid, Larry.
Yeah. Los Lobos, they don't get enough love, man.
I saw them. They actually opened up for U2 and they opened up for Neil Young. So I've seen Los Lobos twice.
And they toured with the Dead for a while.
Yeah. 1984 for Yes.
Wow.
$15, 75 to see. That's a 90125 tour.
Wow.
Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Led Zeppelin is great.
The Who for the 25th anniversary tour. And they were over at BC Stadium, and $33.25 for them.
How would you like to see Led Zeppelin for $7.50?
Not getting a little later in time now. We got Pink Floyd.
Oh
wow!
And that was Division Bell, and that I'm paying. It's hard to focus.
42, I think. 42.
Yeah, there it is. $42.75.
Yeah.
Get your fingers off it, Rachel. But anyway, Pink Floyd. So a few more, different bands. Dylan's. There's a Bob Dylan. How much did I pay for that? Bob Dylan, 1990. How much did I pay?
Yeah, Division Bell I had a hard time getting into. When it first came out, I was just disappointed.
$25.
Oh, wow.
In the orange, it says 25 there.
I'm getting up on the screen. Oh, I can't see it. Yeah, Division Bell grew on me later. It took a while. I always liked What Do You Want From Me? I like that song.
There's David Bowie, and I saw him for 32 too. So all these around, what's the year is that? 1987.
So that was pretty expensive for back then. $32.
Yeah, those were the top. These were the biggest acts, kind of, going.
Yeah,
Division Bell. I just got Division Bell in the mail the other day. Like I said, I'm trying to fill out the collection. So
yeah,
I got that. I got Momentary Lapse, Adam Hart,
Mother.
Yeah, I just got for Christmas I got Piper. And then after that I was like, I've got to start getting a Pink Floyd. So I got Obscured by Clouds and Metal after that.
Yeah.
I think the only one I'm missing now is it Umagumma or Umagumma?
Umagumma, yeah. I just saw the record today at the store, but I wasn't going to pay that for that.
Yeah, the ones I've seen aren't in good shape, so I'm kind of waiting around.
It wasn't in good shape, but it was cool. It still had the sticker on it that said, 2 records for one price kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like $50. I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
There's a couple I got just recently. Somebody had them in their collection, like Hysteria, and they still have the stickers on them and the hype. I don't know. I just like it. Just takes you back a little bit when it has that stuff on there.
Yeah,
that's a nice album.
Yeah.
And Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that's about the only one I can tolerate. Is this?
That's more than I can tolerate.
I don't have any Bon Jovi in my collection.
This is my first one, but it's one of those, you know, you had it when you were a kid, and
that's the one with Bad Medicine, isn't it?
Yeah, very stadium rocker, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's one of those. I don't call them guilty pleasures anymore because, you know, screw it. If my brain likes it, it likes it, and I'm good. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
Why should I feel guilty?
No guilt.
Well, it's time for me to go, but before I do, tell us about your channels, everybody, and I hope you subscribe to Rachel's Ghost, Sam St. John, and Music Talk with John. So go first, Rachel.
It's like kind of what we're doing right here, where I get people up like Sam and John. John was on the show this morning. We sit around, we talk about rock and roll. We have a lot of laughs, and I do YouTube shorts, and every now and then I'll do I call them the old timey video, where you stand in front of the thing and you go, "Oh, I got a record. This is Elvis record. It's really good. You should get it and buy it."
Right.
So that is it. We have a lot of fun. 6 o'clock in the morning Pacific every single day. I go for 3 hours. Be there or be square, kids.
Yep.
And Sam.
My channel name is exactly as you see it on the little box here, the Brady Bunch box. I talk about Americana a lot. I like songwriters, but I also like, I like rock too. I talk about 60s rock. Some of my favorites are Tom Petty, the Zombies, Van Morrison, John Prine, Bob Dylan. I do album reviews when I can. I do concert reviews. I've got a concert review I'm going to record either tonight or tomorrow for a show I saw Thursday night. So that's always up and coming. I do a lot with my buddy Rich Strickler as well. I do things with Glenn Kellaway, with Larry when we can. And yeah, it's just really, really a cool friend group that I've developed. So I appreciate Larry having me on tonight.
Yeah.
And John?
As do we all.
I do a lot of that. I, go through my album collection. I show you my albums. I'm trying to branch out from that. So I visited some record stores, try to get to a record store anytime I'm out of town to show that off. I try to spotlight on some jazz or blues. And my newest thing is I do this thing called Walk and Talk, where I'm trying to lose some weight. So people just comment what songs they want me to review. I take a walk and talk about it and play the song for them. So that's kind of like my focus right now.
Cool.
And I go on Rachel all the time.
And tomorrow I'm hoping to get 3 more Paul Weller CDs besides these 2, and I'll open them up and show you this magazine. And I think I have more albums from the prog band Nectar. Has anybody ever heard Nectar?
Yeah, I like Nectar.
They are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's about it.
Cool.
So thanks everybody.
Thank you, Larry.
Maybe I'm really sore, but maybe tomorrow or sometime soon I'll do another one of these because it was enjoyable.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Larry.
Yeah, thank you.
Really enjoyed it, everybody.
And thanks everybody.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye, Rachel, John.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.
Yep. Take care.
Bye, VC. Bye, people.
Night,
I
night.
gotta get out.